to talk about the woo side, the metaphysical. What we used to call woo-woo back in the day, and now it's just become woo for whatever reason. Language continues to progress. When I talk about metaphysical aspects and elements, what I mean is perfectly natural phenomenon that are not explained yet by science. So when we think about paranormal, supernatural, all these things have certain connotative meanings, and sometimes people who believe in them, like myself, are thought of as being silly or out of touch with reality or whatever. But here's how I look at it. I have terrible, terrible vision. It's actually gotten somewhat better as I've gotten older because I'm very nearsighted. And as we get older, most human beings tend to become farsighted, so mine has compensated a little bit. But I have terrible vision. I have to have contact lenses, and if I want to read something, I have to put reading glasses on top of the contact lenses. So horrible, horrible vision. Other people naturally have 20/20 vision, perfect vision their entire lives. So some people have a better sense of vision than I do, but there are other senses besides these. There's the ones we learned in elementary school: seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, and what I forget, smelling. Smelling. But there are senses, I believe, beyond those. And a lot of people believe this, and there is some growing body of evidence for it. I perceive certain things that other people don't. So my sense facility in those areas is more highly developed than someone else's. But my vision compared to theirs is lousy. I also have a really poor sense of smell. So these are just the ways that I conceptualize what we call metaphysical. Another example is gravity. We didn't understand very much about gravity until fairly modern times. And we still don't know exactly how it works, or maybe scientists do by now. But lack of knowledge of the understanding of how gravity works has never caused me to fly off the face of the planet. I don't need to know how it works, but knowing that it works can be helpful in some contexts. I know, for example, that if I decide to go mountain climbing and I put a foot wrong, I'm going to fall because I understand that much about gravity. So I rope myself in. Things like that. I understand that if I jump out of an airplane, I better be wearing a parachute. So I know enough about gravity to be helpful, but I don't have to understand every little detail about it in order to use it effectively. So when it comes to manifesting, there are techniques that are used that go beyond our human brain, where we're basically working with the natural energies out there in the universe, and we're calling those in to support us. It's like, since I'm talking about energy, it's like putting something in the microwave oven. The microwave goes at a specific frequency. Its energy is dialed in pretty precisely, and that's all it does. So if we can dial into other frequencies that work with us, that we can work with our brain, with our mind, then we can use those energy frequencies to help us. That's the woo. That's the metaphysical part. That's the part that I can't point to scientific study and show you this is how it works, because we don't know yet. There have been some studies that indicate that it works, but without the how it works, science maintains a healthy skepticism. And I think that's a good thing. We don't want to get carried away. We don't want to be taken in by snake oil salesmen. So if you're working with the woo side of manifesting, please be careful in terms of what you try and who you trust. A couple of quick suggestions. If someone says, hey, try this technique and you've never heard of it, do some research online and see if other people are teaching the same thing or something similar. Then you know, okay, it's around. And then how long has it been around? What was the first book that was written on this? Is it just last year? Okay, something brand new is not necessarily a bad thing, but you might want to take a look and see how long it's been in existence. How long have people been teaching that technique? And the other thing is, how much are people charging to teach you? You know, If it's a lot, be careful. Just be careful. Do your due diligence. But the woo side does work. It has worked for me. It's worked in my own life. And I will give you a quick example of how I manifested my car. At first I wanted a hybrid, and then I started dialing it in, and I test drove a few cars, and I decided I wanted a Toyota Camry. And I wanted it to be 1 year old because I didn't want to take the depreciation hit for the first year. I wanted it to have less than 10,000 miles, and I wanted it to be blue. So I went online and I found my car, and I called the place, and that car had already sold. But they had pictures of that car, and so I put those pictures everywhere. I put them on my phone as both my wallpaper and my lock screen. It was on my computer as my wallpaper, and everything I could think of, and printed it out and put it around. I pictured myself driving in this car. I imagined this car. And I went back to that website about a week later, and the car was still there. And I just thought, on a fluke, I called them and I said, hey, I had called about this car, and you said it had sold, but it's still on your website. And they said, oh, we had taken it down and put it back up because the deal fell through. So I got my 1 year old blue Toyota Camry hybrid with 6,005 miles on it. So I managed to manifest my car. Yes, I do believe in this stuff. I do believe that it works. And hopefully you can have some faith and experiment with it. I'm not asking you to take my word for it. I'm asking you to try it out, see for yourself. And we will talk about more specific manifesting techniques in subsequent weeks. And hopefully some of them will resonate with you, and you can, okay, bad pun here, take it for a test drive. Forgive me. Okay, thanks for listening and watching, and I hope you have a great day and a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.